Welcome to Parenting Now's virtual Family Matters. I hope each of you are doing well. During the COVID-19 pandemic, moments seem more and more valuable. Here at Parenting Now, moments of laughter, strength, and love come through as we help families navigate these tough times. The resiliency of families is an inspiration to all of us at Parenting Now. As a grandmother, I see how my daughter and her husband navigate sheltering in place with raising two young children. My heart is filled with joy during each video chat that occasionally includes a fierce toddler meltdown. And life goes on. Parenting Now is a lifeline for parents of young children. Parents in need are reaching out to us for support, strength, and encouragement when life is challenging, as well as when it is rewarding. We're joined today by Dr. Jeff Todahl, the co-founder of 90 by 30, an initiative to reduce child abuse by 90% by the year 2030 in Lane County. Dr. Todahl is an associate professor in the Counseling Psychology and Human Services Department at the University of Oregon. He's co-director, co-founder, and director of research with the Center for Prevention of Abuse and Neglect. Dr. Todahl's research centers on violence prevention and community engagement as a vehicle for reducing child abuse. Raising children in a COVID world has changed the roles of parenting. Dr. Todahl joins us now to explain some of the issues facing families in the wake of the global outbreak and the importance of positive, healthy parenting. Thank you, Jeff.
Hi, everyone. Wonderful to, sort of be with you and thrilled to do so in support of Parenting Now. Have you held a newborn baby recently and wondered, what are you thinking? What's happening inside of your mind? That brain, born with 100 billion neurons, each with 2,500 synapses, and in a nurturing, safe, and connected environment, blooming to some 1,500 synapses per neuron by 2 and 3 years. We all understand the pure vulnerability of the newborn and the wonderful and profound responsibility of supporting their development. It is a complex task, and we don't do it in a vacuum. Certainly, the circumstances of our lives, including the communities within which we live, and the resources we do or do not have, naturally all directly influence the attention each parent and caregiver can give to the task of supporting the development of their children. It's a heavy lift. Parents and caregivers, of course, have the most direct influence on child development, and by extension, each person in parents' lives, including the communities within which parents and guardians live, have the second most direct impact on parenting and child well-being. It's all of us. Well, how has COVID impacted this? The Center for Translational Neuroscience at the U of O has turned toward this question with rapid and nationally representative surveys of several thousand US parents. I'd like to share just a handful of their findings with you. Due to and since COVID, parents expressed significant concerns about financial and housing security, including wide loss of income, especially among families within 150% of the federal poverty level, which actually represents many thousands of Lane County families. They reported vast loss of access to childcare, and in many cases, families have experienced a 100% loss of childcare access. They were concerned about significant reduction in social support and respite care, and much lower access to free and low-cost school-based meals. Also, significant increases relative to pre-pandemic levels in spousal conflict, parent-child conflict, and overall household tension, and significant increase in adult emotional distress and child behavioral problems. Among parents and caregivers who lost childcare, they reported significantly higher rates of stress and anxiety. Many worried about permanent closure of child care services and concerns around ongoing access due to safety concerns and affordability. And the loss of free school-based meals was the single most consistent determinant of elevated levels of adult anxiety, depression, and stress for families within 150% of the federal poverty level. And a hopeful finding: parent reports of affection towards their children remain high and appear unaffected by the pandemic. Parents' positive feelings and actions toward their children remain at pre-pandemic levels. Now, one of the recommendations from this report is to focus on activities that minimize isolation and foster social support. And a quote from this report: "There is no likely stronger protection against the negative effects of stress than a close and nurturing relationship with a parent or parent figure." This matches actually in many ways previous surveys of Lane County residents. Our center, the University of Oregon's Center for the Prevention of Abuse and Neglect, devoted to the reduction of child abuse and neglect, asked Lane County residents, "What do you believe most contributes to child abuse and neglect?" Risk factors, we might say. In surveys and in conversations with over 12,000 Lane County residents said the culture of silence surrounding violence and trauma contributes to abuse and neglect, substance misuse, intimate partner violence, social and financial inequity. But the factor that was noted most often by Lane County residents was social isolation and social disconnection. We also asked Lane County residents what will prevent child abuse and neglect, kind of their view of protective factors. The most common responses: shift in social norms, pulling abuse and neglect out of the shadows, improved social equity, including reduction in racism, an engaged community taking positive action to support families, increased access to high quality childcare and early learning, and again, community members providing emotional support to parents, and increased social connection. Finally, nearly 100% agreed or strongly agreed that the central responsibility of adulthood is to ensure the safety and well-being of all children. Since 1978, Parenting Now has demonstrated a deep understanding of these issues. Parenting Now's curricula is evidence-based, now with over 100,000 Lane County family participants. Parenting Now is in over 1,000 parenting programs across the US and in more than 18 international communities. And I will tell you, in my own experience, living nearly 25 years in this community and interfacing with Parenting Now's work and staff on many, many dozens of occasions, Parenting Now is a remarkably generous, integrated, responsive, efficient, and highly regarded organization. In addition to parenting education and support, Parenting Now is at virtually every parenting education, family support, and early learning table in our community. They are highly influential in our local systems of care. They're connected to the Early Learning Alliance and shaped it. They're connected to United Way's Lane Kids and deeply involved in that work, and have developed and shared a widely used resource guide for decades. A donation to Parenting Now is an investment actually in a network. Each dollar is magnified given how Parenting Now works, how they are regarded, and their deep understanding of systems of care. $1 to Parenting Now is like giving 10. I'm going to ask you in closing to really think about taking 4 actions. Give to Parenting Now, for sure. Watch The Raising of America, an exceptional documentary series about the power and promise of high-quality early learning and parenting support. Learn about Raise Up Oregon, and reach out to a parent today. Ask, hey, how are you? What would be most helpful for you right now? So thanks all, and take good care.
Thank you, Jeff. What wonderful advice to reach out to a parent and just check in. We could all use that kind of support right now. Thanks again, Jeff. We're grateful for your advocacy and partnership in this work. Now I'd like to share with you a few words from our Parenting Now family. Here's a short video with families sharing their experiences with our programs.
I think Parenting Now does an incredible job of normalizing the very difficult job of parenting.
When we moved, our daughter was a month old.
Yeah,
and so we used it as Parenting Now as kind of a go-to to get connected with other parents and figure out this whole parenting universe.
Well, we were told very early on that we were going to do Parenting Now because I was a birth to 3 baby. And the first day we came into the infants class and everybody tells their birth story, and it was instantly oh, everybody has something wonderful and something horrible that has happened, and we're all in the same boat, and it was just really, it was a big relief.
Parenting is kind of like walking a tightrope. If you've got the skills, it's not that difficult, but nobody starts out with the skills, so there's always a net underneath. Well, when I first started working here, I thought we were the net. We aren't. It's the other families.
I think that was a good thing in our group is like we just would share an experience, whether or not we knew what the answer was or whatever it was. It was like we just put it out on the table and there was no judgment. Mm-hmm. We just like, hey, this is what's happening in my house. How about yours?
It's always the hope that things are going to get better. The hope that you're going to be able to have you again in this process. And it just reminds you that there's all these different stages and each stage has its moments where it's amazing. And then you know that the next stage is going to happen and you know that there'll be good parts there too.
One of the things we talked about earlier was aligning our ideals, because I don't know very many couples who talk about their parenting plan, so to speak, before they actually have kids. Like, how are we going to raise our kids? How are we going to discipline them? How are we going to make sure that they have all the skills they need to become a successful adult?
We're constantly covering the topic of how to manage our stress, and I was like thinking, when is she gonna help me figure out what to do about tantrums in a grocery store, stuff like that. And then sort of this light bulb went off, like, oh, stress management, like that really is the key to managing all of those constant difficult behaviors that you experience with kids.
Thank you, I really appreciate you. You, all of you, made it possible for me to be where I am now, which is relatively happy most days. Most days living the dream of single parent, working mom, career woman, all those things. I don't know that I would be there, or if I was doing all those things, I wouldn't be at the level of happiness now.
Coming in for a weekly meeting or whatever you want to call it, was a highlight of the week for us.
You give us hope.
You give us hope.
You give us hope.
You give me hope.
You give us hope.
Much better.
Thank you.
Our families give us hope. At Parenting Now, we've adapted to online and virtual support to meet the needs of our families. We continue to be a strong source of support for families each and every day. During the COVID-19 crisis, we know that it is more important than ever to provide parenting education and support to families with young children. We have a $10,000 fundraising goal for Family Matters this year, which would help us fund our new virtual programs. Won't you join us? You can double your impact. The McKay Family Foundation has offered us a $5,000 match, so please help us take advantage of this generosity. Your gifts truly change lives. Investing in Parenting Now helps create healthy, stable families that are rewriting their futures. You can donate via our website at parentingnow.org, our GoFundMe page, or just mail a check to 86 Centennial Loop, Eugene, Oregon, 97401. The links for donating are located in the webinar chat for you to use if you'd like. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Thank you again, Dr. Jeff Todahl, for sharing your expertise and insights with us from your inspiring work with 90 by 30. We're so grateful to have you as a partner in this work for Lane County. Thank you again. If you have any questions, please stick around. Type your questions in the chat and I will respond to you. The video of this event will be emailed to everyone and posted on our Facebook, website, and YouTube channels. Please help us spread the word by sharing this video with your friends and family throughout the month of July to help us reach our goal. We hope that you and your friends are staying well during these extra hard times. Thank you for partnering with us to support our community.